Okay, next we're going to look at driving multiple pivot tables from one set of slicers. And this comes from the Pivot Table Data Crunching book. It's from Chapter 4 and it begins on page 109. We're going to start with our data. We're going to insert a pivot table. Click OK for the data. In this example, we want to look at the date and the revenue. We're going to go down to revenue, to value field settings. We want to change the number format to currency. Click OK and OK. We also want to go to design, report layout, and change it to a tabular form. Next, we want to click on date, go up to analyze, and we're going to group date to quarters and years. Click OK. Okay, so we have our first table. We want to copy that table. You can either right click copy or you can control C. We're going to paste. In this table we want to remove date and we want to insert the product field. We're going to copy the second table, paste to a blank spot on the sheet, and this time we're going to remove product and we're going to add in sector. Okay, so you can now see we have three separate tables. What we want to do next is we want to put in a slicer that we can use across all three to change our data to what we want to look at. Okay, we're going to click on table 1. We're going to go up to analyze, insert slicer, and just as before we get a list of fields that we can use for slicers. In this example we're going to choose market. Click OK. I'm going to move our slicer box out of the way. First thing we're going to do is change this slicer box so that we can see all of our data. I'm going to increase the columns to 3. I'm going to widen and shorten the box. And we'll go ahead and change the color of it as well. Okay, so right now this slicer is connected to the first table. You can see if I click on Cincinnati, the only table that changes if I click on any of the market buttons, table 1 is the only thing that changes. Let's remove that filter in the top right hand corner of the slicer box. We want this slicer to affect all three tables at the same time. So we're going to go up to the bar to report connection. You're going to see that right now that slicer is connected to pivot table 20. We want to click on 22 and 24, connect it to the other two, click OK, and now it's connected to all three tables. So this time if we click on Cincinnati, it changes across the board. We now see Cincinnati's information by date, product, and sector. Click on any of the other markets, and just like before we can also control and select other areas as well and look at multiple market areas at one time. So that is how, we'll remove that filter, that is how we're able to use one slicer to look at multiple tables.